Let me know when you're ready.
I'm as ready as I'm ever going to be.
How's it going?
Good, you?
I'm good. I want to tell everyone what it's like leaving an ADHD spouse alone for 2 days.
I think I've been pretty clear on the topic, but for further proof as to the fact that I'm not making it up, our summer situation is I commute between our main house in the city and my work and out of the cabin. And while some weeks I can work out here the entire week, last week I had to go home for a few days and brought one of the children with me, the older one, which is fine. No issue. Leaving my younger daughter and wife at the cabin. And on a supply run into the local town, they came back.
No, we're going to Kimberly.
Oh, they were going to just a town.
We're going to go, hang out in Kimberly.
And then got sidetracked and came back with a dog.
Never made it to Kimberly.
Never made it to their destination. So if you ever want to know, hey, I wonder, is my spouse ADHD? It's stuff like that points to the yes right there. And in a pure veteran move, as she was at the SPCA, having already fallen in love with the puppy, is when I get the text of asking for my consent or blessing or, I guess, participation in this decision. And I would not give it. I just basically said they can do what they want. And when I came out the next weekend, guess who was here with them? A brand new dog. So, yeah, that's just a little snippet of what it's like.
I don't think I asked for consent.
You asked, should we do this? And I said, it's your call. Because on the past 2 times we found ourselves in this situation, I've had to be Mr. No, which has not gone over well. So this time I just took the path of, I know it's going to just keep happening. So they either need to learn on their own or I just need to get it over with because there's no way they can ever want a 4th dog after this.
Well, the last summer, this was several summers ago, it happened. I'm like, oh my gosh, we're in Victoria, but we have to drive, I don't know how many kilometers to Edmonton.
Yeah, like almost 400 kilometers.
To get another puppy. And it worked out really well.
Did it? Little Miss, every other day you hate dogs. And why do we have dogs? And I wish we didn't have dogs. Because it's not me walking around the house going, God, I hate dogs. You guys are so annoying. Get out of here. It's not me. Who is it?
I love them.
Do you?
I do.
When they're sleeping.
And
not
when
stinky.
They're cuddling. Or when they're playing. It's just when they pee. And boy dogs, this is the first boy dog we've had. Pees a lot. Everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
Everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah.
Yeah, that's just a little snippet.
And lots of separation anxiety. Although he's found his little patch in the sun as long as we leave the door open for him.
Yeah. So in the country, that's a good thing to be doing with bugs.
Yeah.
Which is fine because it means Sunny has something to do.
Yeah. Chasing bugs. Anywho.
So yeah, that was it. That's a little.
But he's cute. You got to admit he's cute.
I'm not said anything different. But in the context of, is this a good decision? No, it's not a good decision at all.
Do you love him or will you love him?
I don't know. I'm waiting to see what the final decision is before I start going down that path. It comes down to the same problem with the other 2 dogs. I know. That's always one of the problems. I know who's going to have to be the one at the end of the road with them. And it's not you 3. It's going to be me.
Oh, like when they die?
Yeah, it's not going to be any of you 3 that have to take them or be in the room. I guarantee it. It's going to be me.
Resilience.
I don't need resilience training. I'm nearly 50. I'm resilient.
Okay. It'll be a sad day. But the girls I'll come with you. I'll support you.
You'll come into the room and hold the dog as they leave us.
Yeah.
No.
If you want me there to support you, I will do it.
Oh, here we go. If you want me there.
Anyway.
Classic.
What are we talking about today?
I had it all queued and then you threw me with the dog stuff.
Oh, sorry.
No, it's fine. I think for me, as it's still summer and we're still well into the throes of summer, it comes, I guess what I want to know is the routine shifts, but a new routine emerges, right? With that, though, how do you make it? How can parents use summer as an opportunity to introduce their kids to new things? Because we are semi-successful at this. Like when we introduced the kids to tubing behind the boat, big fans, loved it. When we tried to introduce them to kneeboarding or into wakeboarding, not so much. So the question is, because we've talked before about, how to fight boredom and, how to make the most of it. But summer is a unique opportunity to introduce skills and activities that they don't get most of the time. But how do you do that when you've got kids that, would rather, using the tube, for example, would rather do a specific thing and don't necessarily want to jump into the new thing?
I think we've actually talked about this in different variations.
Yeah, not as a specific topic, because I'm thinking it's not just sports stuff too, right?
Yeah,
like how do you introduce them to liking to go hiking or any other sort of thing, right?
Yeah. And I think that this is good because we can look at stretching out of their comfort zone, but this is going to be important too, even just working on, skills and things like that, which I think we can get more specific in other episodes. But if we're looking specifically at stretching out of their comfort zone and new experiences, and that includes food too, I think, right? Like it could include, think about your own family. So whether it's saying hi to people, meeting new kids, I've got a bunch of families right now who have kids going to camps, for example. And so that's a big thing. And some are actually sleepaway camps. Apparently I'm not supposed to use sleepaway camp because I don't know, there's a horror movie or something titled that. And people are like, it's too scary.
Whatever.
Anyways.
Oh my God. That's a whole different topic.
So it could be those types of things all the way to, I don't know, parasailing or.
Yeah. And even just in the context of why I was thinking about this as its own is we're about to see a fairly significant shift in one of our kids' life in the fall. Yeah. So stretching out of the comfort zone is going to happen. So how do we help prepare them?
Well, she's stretched out of her. Oh, little one or big one?
Little one.
Oh, okay. Because big one had a big stretching out of her comfort zone this weekend. She was left alone at home this weekend.
In a haunted house, apparently.
By herself.
Apparently our house is haunted. But it's kind of along those lines, right? Like the fall is coming.
Yeah.
Every summer you can learn something new. There's an opportunity where she's going to be presented with a whole new bunch of social and school and academic stuff, whatever. So how can we use summer to make learning new things and stretching out of your comfort zone more enjoyable and apply that in a few weeks when they go back to school?
Well, I think first having the conversation just around, I talk about neurobiology all the time, right? So our emotional brain, our amygdala who wants to protect us, and that's what makes us feel scared. And you can talk about experiences, like when was a time that you felt really scared? How did that feel in your body, right? Being able to talk about that. But and even with the older ones, even with teenagers, but you can also even 3-year-olds have this conversation. You just change the language. But we are going to strengthen our prefrontal cortex. That's our brave brain, our brave part of our brain. And so we're all going to pick stuff so we can all brainstorm ideas. I would have that discussion as a family. And I would even write down, you could do a Venn diagram. So depending on how many people in your family, it could be, let's say there's 3 of you. It would be 3 circles all overlapping. So there's a little overlap with all 3, or it could be 5 circles all overlapping. But in every circle is one person that they write their thing. So, but I would have parents do. So what would be yours, stretching out of your comfort zone if you were to do it?
Yeah, great question. Let's just say water skiing. It's something I haven't done in years.
Okay.
Right.
Yeah.
I don't know. But just for the purpose of this conversation.
Right. Yeah. And for me, probably more socializing. Meeting up with people, reaching out to people. I'm such a hermit that way, but that could be examples. The girls, it could be, water sport. I would also say like calling somebody up and saying, hey, do you want to hang out? Let's go do something. So whatever it is, you can put all your bravery things in your circles. And I would like kids start with what they want to do. If we're forcing stuff they don't want to do down their throats, like I know Maya, for example, has no interest in wakeboarding. She just has 0 interest. She'll ski, she'll water ski, just to appease, I think, more than her actually enjoying it. But I don't think she wants to wakeboard. So that's okay. If I force her to, then this whole exercise is going to go out the window. So we want to find what is it that they are motivated by in working through. So then identifying that. And I would say, again, parents, you too, also identify the thing that's going to be really hard for you, because it's good for kids to see us doing those things. And then we are going to model, okay, I'm feeling really nervous about this. This is what's happening. This is how I'm going to, work through. And this is how I'm going to build up my confidence. This is what I'm going to do. And I would actually bring your kids. So if it is for you skiing, okay, I'm feeling really nervous. I'm not sure if I'm going to get up, but this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to have my arms straight and I'm going to pull my legs back and tip my skis up. Right. And then that's kind of modeling out loud the things that we're going to do. So for me, it's like, okay, I'm really nervous. I haven't talked to this friend in a year, but this is what I'm going to say. And then doing it and then being able to talk about the outcome. So doing those things and making a plan. And I would say every day. So you could take those things and put it in. We've talked about bravery jars, for example. Everyone can have their own bravery jar, and pulling out that paper and saying, okay, today I'm going to go do this thing. If it's hard to do, like if it's everyday things at home, then you can just put it on whatever paper. But I think if it's a harder one, you put it on a colored paper, just so okay, we're not at the lake today. So that's the blue paper. I'm not going to pick a blue paper. And then away we go, and we kind of support them.
How can that model be applied to people with younger kids? Because we obviously can sit and have those conversations. We're at that stage. But what if there's, say your kid is going to be starting preschool or kindergarten or something in the new year, and they're not potentially maybe as easy to communicate with? How would you apply that to someone like that?
I would say that you still could, right? And, I wouldn't say maybe prefrontal. Well, yeah, actually, even with the 3-year-old, I would say your prefrontal cortex, that's your brave brain. We're going to be brave. And with the younger ones, I do a little more just in terms of externalization, which I mean, like I've talked about that, like the worry gremlin,
right?
Or I use Loki. I like Loki, right? Mischievous, god of mischief. And so he's trying to make us scared, but we really want to go play on the park. We really want to climb that ladder at the playground, right? So think about whatever it is that that your kids kind of want to do. And so maybe you're not brainstorming a bunch of ideas. It's just every day, and you can put it on the calendar. We're going to get a sticker. We're going to just celebrate. Or every time we do something brave, we're going to go do something fun. We're going to go to the park or play a game. But we can talk about the minion or whatever character your kids would know, and saying they are the scaredy cat who's trying to make us stop, and we never learn. Maybe it's learning to ride your bike without any training wheels, whatever it is. That scaredy cat's going to come up, and what is he going to say? He's going to say, stop, I don't wanna, but we're going to keep going anyway, and I'm going to be there to support you. So you could totally talk with a 3-year-old like that, and then like, we're going to do it. And I would scaffold it. So let's say they are learning to pedal their bikes. And I mean, 3 is very young, but we've had a 3-year-old, so I know it's possible, who learned to ride a 2-wheeler at 3. So whatever it is, you're not going to maybe expect them to go the whole neighborhood, and now you're just doing it. Maybe it's just 1 foot. Literally, they could just push themselves. Like, they don't even get a full rotation of their pedals,
right? Just
to build that success. Yeah, you did it. And then is it, okay, should we stretch a little bit more, or are we done for today? Giving them that option, right? So make it so that they're successful as best as we can. If it's trying to get up to ski with the older kids, maybe it is just get up. Like, I'm not expecting you to ski around the whole lake. It's like, we're just going to work on getting up, or practicing getting up. If you're not sure they're going to get up, maybe it's practicing getting up 3 times.
Right.
And it's up to you if you want to keep going, right? But every day we're going to practice 3 times. So you could do it that way as well. I don't know. Does that?
Yeah, no, it does.
Pictures. Like, I would have them draw their little minion or worry gremlin or whatever, and say, what are we going to say to talk back to them? Like, I'm the boss, or give them something that they can say, I'm the boss, or I'm going to do it, some sort of mantra.
And does it make sense then to identify what you think that they might have challenges with, using the school example, right? Going into a new school or something in the fall. to identify potential challenges or areas that they're scared of and create activities around that. Like, so to your point about being more social, right? If you think that, or you know that your kid struggles with making new friends in new environments or dealing with a new school, do the activities then, does it make sense, or is it too much to try and make them do both and then have to deal with it in the fall?
No, so what I've been saying is things that they're interested in to get them bought into the process and to the language. So we're teaching them the language if they don't already have it. We're getting them bought into the process, right? And showing them it's awesome to stretch out of our comfort zone. Because right now the fear outweighs anything. I would rather just avoid, and then that feels better, but they don't know on the other side how good they'll feel. Right. And so we're just getting them into that, like, this is awesome. There's payoffs. I feel good. And we get to go do something fun, or we get to, whatever it is. But then we start adding in the hard things, right? So first we're going to focus on the fun things that they want to do, but are scared. But now we're going to do some of those hard things, maybe that they're not as motivated. And so, again, I would still follow their lead. Like if we were going to try foods, maybe they're not really motivated to try foods, but if they want to, they can still choose, the new foods that they want. Or if we're going to work on social, that they can start choosing what it is they want to do. Is it going up to another kid on the playground? Is it calling grandma and grandpa by themselves to say hello? It doesn't matter what it is. You want to brainstorm lots of ideas that they can choose from. And then we're going to get them to push a little bit harder. What's a little bit harder and a little bit harder? I would almost have a chart. Like these are, and they get to pick where. I would never say, let's start easy, because I don't want them to think that we think that they can't do the harder stuff. So, but for them, especially the younger guys, it might be good. These are kind of the, a little bit hard, really hard. Oh my gosh, panic attack hard. Right. Which ones do you want to try? If the harder we try, the faster we're going to make your brave brain stronger. I've never had a kid pick the 10, like the top panic attack one, but I've never had them pick the easiest thing ever either. They're usually in the middle. So you can start adding those things and working towards. Now, if there are things that you absolutely know that your child needs to do, and maybe it is initiating play, for example, or initiating, hey, do you want to hang out? I would say that, and you know that they're always going to avoid it, or you try this for a couple of weeks and they never want to do that hard thing. I would say maybe one day is a parent pick day. And I would still give them choices. So maybe the task is to initiate with an unknown peer, but how they do that is up to them. It could be going up to them and saying, do you want to play tag? It could be going up to them and saying, do you know what time it is? It could be, you know what I mean? It doesn't matter. So maybe there's a choice of what the kid can say, but the task is they have to go up and initiate. So I would still give them choice, because we can't ever force them to do anything that they don't want to. And even when we're giving them a choice, we still can't force it. You have to pick, because they're going to just push back. So it's up to you, bud. Like, I'll know that you want to go play at the park with me, or play this game, or go for a bike ride when you do that. Right. So it's totally up to you. That's kind of how I would do that.
All right. That makes sense.
Yeah. Did you have something else?
No.
Because I do actually have, I think it'll be ready for this episode, a back to school. I'm going to have 2 back to school transition articles. And one is back to school worries specifically. So I'll put that in the show notes so you can, it's a guide. It's like 30 pages. There's lots of information in there. The only other thing that I would add to that are sometimes there's specific skills that kiddos need to learn. And I know we had our previous episode on social skills, for example. So sometimes we got to make sure that our kids have the skills to be able to do the thing, because sometimes maybe that's where the anxiety is around. So an example, like for our daughter who's transitioning to grade 7, she's going to have a locker for the first time.
Yeah.
And I know she's not worried about locks, but I know a lot of kids, when they make that big transition, they're really worried. What if I can't get into my locker? And actually, it's funny because our older one didn't know how to get into her locker in grade 10 for the year. It wasn't until like near the end of the year. She's like, I really need how to figure it out, because she had it and put stuff in there at the beginning of the year, but then couldn't open it. She's like, I got to get my stuff out of the locker. So she had to figure it out. But so then you're practicing with locks, right? So that they feel kind of proficient with, and I would use a couple of different types of locks, because we don't know exactly what the school one is. Maybe you do, but maybe you can get one from the school. I don't know. But practicing, if kids, I have so many kids, these are my younger boys usually, but girls too, who don't know how to initiate properly. So that they're motivated and they're likable. They're fine once they're with the friends, but just starting it, they get weird. They get silly, right?
Yep.
They'll come up and like, you look like a butt crack, right? And they're just wanting to joke around, but now they've upset the other kid, or they'll get right in their face. So maybe you're working on how to initiate that interaction successfully, and then let's go practice it in different situations. So they're, building up that confidence. I think that those things, dogs.
You should get more.
But anyway, that's the only piece that I would say is if there's skills that they can actually learn to support them. I always feel like I take your topic sideways.
No,
is that
that's
kind
fine.
of where you're addressing?
My topics are never very specific, right?
No.
They're always meant to have a bigger conversation. So really it comes down to, how do we expose our kids to new things? And how do we leverage the things that we know they need to work on potentially because of an upcoming, life change in the fall to support that? And you touched on all that. You went through it all.
Yeah.
I'd only say the follow-up would be, how do you make it so that parents aren't a bad influence on our kids over the summer break and making decisions that affect the whole family, like a 4-legged variety? Do you have any thoughts on that?
Well, 2 out of 4 of us were on board with it.
Oh, so 50% pass rate is what you're endorsing now.
I know. But that's why, on that note, though, in all seriousness, us modeling this stuff is important too, as a family, but even our own stuff. Like I remember, I think I talked about this last summer where I was a little nervous getting up on the skis, and I talked about it, and I was going to be like, no, it's too cold. Like I was finding all the reasons, and I'm like, no, this is a perfect opportunity for me to model. Like, oh man, it's really cold and I'm really scared, and this cold water is making me even more nervous, but I'm going to just do these things. And so it's looking for those opportunities. And then just creating opportunities for your kids to stretch. And I know I've talked about this too. If you're going to the store for an ice cream, let them order their own ice cream. Let them pay for the family's ice cream. Just go on a bike ride and let them lead. Yeah. Giving them more not chores, but responsibilities. Actually, one of our friends, I was just talking with a gaggle of kids the other day, and one of the kids had talked about this bench that was his great grandparents' bench. And he's like, I could really clean this up. And so he thought it would be a really quick job, but it ended up taking him a whole week to do. But he got out an electric sander. And this is still a kid, right? Like a little, just a teenager, just going into those early teen years, but got the electric sander and sanded it all down and took out all the screws and put in new screws and cleaned it all up.
That's awesome.
And so and he was so invested in that, and wasn't about, I got to go play. And there was time for that, but taking on something meaningful like that, I think is really helpful. And that builds all of this as well, right? That also gives them confidence and resilience, and like, look what I did, that sense of accomplishment.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's it.
Awesome. See ya.
Signing off from the Dog Pound.